All right, we got lots of things to do and take care of on the Evo, so let's get right to it and not waste any time. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. First things first, we gotta take care of the front rotor on the driver's side and replace it. Now, if you've been watching the videos, you might be asking, hey, didn't you just put brand new rotors on the car? I did. Let me explain. So as we were down there doing the brake lines, bleeding them, all that kind of stuff, I noticed one little thing that may have been an issue on the rotor. So I got a hold of Tire Rack where I ordered these things from, and I gotta say, gotta give them a shout out because it was a super easy process, no hassle whatsoever. They just sent me a new one out. And so let me show you what I found. This little chunk taken out of the inside of the rotor there. I don't know what that would have caused, if anything. But I didn't like it, and so I sent them a photo of it, and they sent me a brand new rotor, no questions asked. I mean, I did send them the photo, but like, no questions asked from them. And not only did they say, hey, here's a new rotor, they were also like, hey, don't worry about sending this one back, we don't need it. And I was like, thanks, Tire Rack, for the new, I mean, this could be a wall clock, this could be anything. So thanks for the new wall decor. Who knows what I'll turn this thing into. It's a brand new rotor. So, I mean, I guess it was defective with that chip in there. So what are they going to do with it, you know? So, yeah, kind of wild, but I will make good use of it. Shing! And huzzah. Brand new rotor all cleaned up and on the hub. Okay, so a little bit of an alert. I was gonna start bleeding the power steering, and I got in there, turned the key on, and was like rotating the steering wheel and all that, and I noticed a big leak where our new line, this guy right here, runs down and into the steering shaft. That has a pretty big leak. So I need to get it tighter, and I need to crawl under there, clean up the power steering fluid, and get that stuff taken care of. I will show you once that task is complete. It's a little tight under there, it's a little dark under there, and I don't know where I'm gonna be able to get you guys into to be able to see what's going on. We got the leak fixed. It was leaking quite a bit after I started looking at it, but had to, of course, run to the store, had to buy another wrench. It's so tight in there to like be able to rotate a wrench, and that fitting, I mean, it was just right in the perfect spot to not be able to get a wrench on it properly and rotate it without hitting the hose above it. What I did was went and bought a wrench that I could just grind up. If you've been following along, I've grinded 4 wrenches in half and made little short wrenches. I found these today. They're little stubby wrenches. Anyways, I ground off the top and the bottom of this thing, making it a little more like low profile, I guess you could say, and it worked perfectly. We got the thing snugged down, and it should be good to go. I couldn't get it any tighter. I'm gonna call that good for now. Power steering is now bled, so yeah, let's move on and see what else we can get accomplished. I need to do a lot more stuff than that, but we got to fix this stuff as we come across it. So, moving on. Okay, I got wrenches and stuff absolutely everywhere, but I need to double check this gauge because it's bothering me. I've been thinking about it for like 3 or 4 days now. So if you missed the last video, I'll link it up top, but we got the car turned on. All the gauges worked except for the AFR gauge. I got it off of Amazon a few years ago because I could get it faster. So I went back into my history on Amazon, bought the same exact gauge. It said last purchased, whatever. Bought that gauge, it shows up, it's the wrong gauge. It wouldn't plug in the same whole big deal, so we got the correct one now. So I'm gonna try and plug this one in and see if it turns on. I rewired this gauge in the car, I've done everything to it, and it just would not even turn on. So my guess is, reading online, this gauge is apparently very, very faulty. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna take this gauge out, we'll plug in this one, see if it turns on at least, and then if it doesn't, then we gotta figure out something else because there's obviously something else going on. I checked all the fuses, I checked everything that I knew to check before, so my only guess is that the gauge just stopped working. So let's plug this thing up and see what we got. There's just 2 wires, it's a power and a ground, and it's not that difficult. So let's unplug this. I have this car wired to a circuit breaker, so I'm gonna go back in the back, hook up the battery, flip the circuit breaker, see if that thing comes on. Circuit breaker flipped, get the key, cross your fingers, come on baby, I know you wanna come on. Son of a bitch. This gauge is not coming on either. What is the deal? Everything is wired, it's 2 wires. All right, let's try to figure this out. You guys are gonna love this. I know I sure got a laugh out of it. So I figured it out. I'm gonna turn this thing on and I'll explain you what happened. Boom, there it is. Unbelievable. So I was doing all kinds of testing and I was like, I put the positive and the ground on the battery and the old gauge kind of came on, it kind of flashed, and I'm like, okay, so it's not the gauge is not dead. So I was checking fuses, I switched the locations where I had it fused into, and it just, nothing was working. And so I was doing some digging online and I happened to come across something and it said that sometimes like the orientation matters on those adaffuses. And it clicked in my head. I was like, oh my God, like I cannot believe that's what happened. I would have swore to you that the adafuse went in like this, like straight down. The wire went down. But I grabbed the old one and the wire was kind of bent like this. And so it's obviously it was facing up and went into these relays here. So I was like, holy crap, that's what it is. And I turned the adafuse upside down and sure enough, let me turn it on one more time. And there we have it. The adafuse was upside down the entire time. Feel free to razz me in the comments because that's pretty stupid. I say that's stupid, but honestly, I would have bet money on that. Like, I would have swore to you that it went the other way. I just don't remember unplugging that gauge, and that's how it was plugged in when I saw it. And so, yeah, I would have swore to you it went that way, but upside down it was, so oh well. And honestly, out of everything that could have been, that was not on my bingo card and would have never been on my bingo card of being what was wrong. They always say, start super simple, and that's about as simple as you can get. The orientation of the adafuse. Anyway, moving on. Alrighty, next step is I want to go ahead and put the brake pads into the calipers so we can go ahead and have those in there. So I'm going to go ahead and toss these things in and keep carrying on. There we go. All four all four corners now have their brake pads in place. So, okay, now we're ready to, I guess, begin trying to bleed these brakes and clutch. So I'm gonna cross my fingers that we can get this done today. Moving on to actually bleeding these brakes and the clutch master cylinder. I mentioned in the last video that I learned something that I wasn't aware of when doing this, and that was I did not bench bleed the master cylinder for the clutch. I didn't know that was a thing, honestly. I thought I could just bleed it while it was on there, but it makes total sense that the master cylinder is brand new, the slave cylinder is brand new, the clutch line is brand new, so all full of air. It is possible to do it this way. It's just going to take forever apparently. And then if I can't do that, then as I mentioned in the last video, we'll go the more drastic route, and I'm going to remove the brake booster, all that stuff to get to the clutch master cylinder, which is like way back here. And then we'll just have to do it and bleed it that way, and we'll bench bleed it or whatever and get that air out of there. So we'll cross our fingers. We'll keep trying this for a little bit. I don't want to spend too much longer on it. Like, I don't want to be here all day trying to do this when I know the problem. So I'll try it a little bit longer, and then we'll just go from there. Last time we were doing this, I didn't have any gloves, so I was doing it without them, but now we have some new ones. So let me just pour this in here. I'm only going to pour one in here because I don't want to waste the brake fluid. So I don't want to use any more than I have to, because you can't store brake fluid like this. I won't show you guys all this stuff because, you know, probably pretty boring. If there's anything of note, I will jump back. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half. I've been chasing this thing all over the car. I think the clutch is bled, almost. We made a lot of progress there. It has pressure on the pedal now at least. It's not coming all the way back up, but we're getting there. So like that, we have on the driver's side rear and the passenger side front, we have fluid coming through, no more bubbles. Awesome. But on the driver's side front and the passenger side rear, we're getting nothing at all, like no fluid whatsoever. I unhooked the brake lines where they connect right here. Nothing is coming through. There must be just like a giant bubble in there that I cannot get out. So the only thing I know to do now is I'm gonna run to the store. I'm gonna buy a vacuum bleeder, put that on the caliper, and we'll try to suck it out. Because that's all I know to do. It really, I mean, it feels like that's my only option right now. So we'll go get a vacuum bleeder, come back, give it a whirl. Okay, so here's the deal. It's been a couple days, and within that couple days, I've tried everything. I've bought tools. I've done all I know to do to try to get these brakes to bleed. The passenger front and the driver's rear bled almost immediately. I'm not sure if I said this or not, but those two bled immediately. The driver front and the passenger rear, I'm getting nothing. Like, not a drop, not even a hint of air coming through, nothing with the pressurized bleeder. I mean, I've done everything. I've taken apart the brake lines. I disconnected it from the caliper, tried that, no air. I disconnected it from where it connects here in the fender well, no air there. And so I got a hold of finishing lines, and we kind of talked a little bit, and he gave me some ideas on things to try. So basically from what I could tell, I told him was it has to be something with the ABS module. I don't know what that could be, but there's a jam somewhere in there because there's nothing coming through. Like, it'd be different if there was like a little bit of air coming through and there was no fluid yet, because I just keep trying. But I'm gonna try, and we're gonna go through and we're gonna chase out these lines. I'm gonna loosen up the connectors first at the master cylinder and see if we have any fluid coming out of those a little bit. If that works, then we'll tighten those back up, and then we'll move to the brake module. Other than that, I'm kind of at a loss. It's kind of weird how there's like a diagonal thing going on where like those bleed and these don't, which is just weird to me. It'd be different if there was like air in the line, and it's not even pushing out any air. So like if there was air in the line, it's not getting out. Like there's a blockage or something that's not allowing it to come through.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
On the good side, we did get the clutch bled and those two brakes. So the clutch is bled now, so we can start the car, all that kind of stuff. We'll just have to figure out the brakes, obviously, because that's kind of important. Okay, so after, in total, many hours, many tools, lots of chasing, we figured out what was wrong with the brakes, and we got it taken care of. Sort of. Let me explain. I cracked the lines from here, and both lines, the primary and the secondary off the master cylinder there, had fluid coming out of them. So then we moved over to here, and I cracked the line for the primary and the secondary on the ABS module, and one of them didn't have fluid coming out of it. So obviously there was an issue with the line, but what was that? So I took the line off, obviously, and we came over and we hooked it up to the air hose and blew air out of it, and nothing happened. And so, okay, there's obviously a block in the line. So I came over and we just cut the line into pieces because I felt like a knot in the line. And so I was like, maybe the knot is it. Like, you couldn't see it, but if you rubbed your fingers across it and you squeezed, you could feel the knot in there. Cut the knot out, and there was nothing. You could see through the line. So we started cutting some more, here and there, here and there. I cut it down to this size, and this end had air coming through it, so it was blowing through. This one right here, however, did not. This one had no air whatsoever coming through it, so we cut it open with a Dremel, and look at this. I hope I can show this, but it is, come on, focus. It is totally blocked off right there, 100% sealed. It was just a manufacturing error, and this thing is 100% blocked. I took a pick and kind of scratched on it a little bit, and it did nothing. Like, it's just a solid piece right there. So he has me a new one on the way. He had that thing built in like 5 minutes and had it shipped out within 10, and we should have that thing tomorrow or the next day. So at least I know I'm not going crazy. So yeah, one manufacturing problem, and we got it figured out, and that is a big relief because I was driving myself crazy trying to figure that out. I just automatically assumed it was something that I done, and so I wasn't even thinking about some of that stuff. So we were just trying to, you know, chase it through the system, see what was going on and what was happening. And so ended up being the line. We'll get a new one, and good to go. So with all of that being said and done, there's not a lot I can do on the car right now. We can't start it. There's no tune on it. And we don't have that line attached up here. And so once that line shows up, we can fix that. I really wasn't wanting to go 2 videos with this little issue here, but you know what? It is what it is. We got issues right now, so we're trying to fix those. And so this one is resolved, kind of not resolved, but we'll get it taken care of in the next one. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it very much, as always. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about everything. And yeah, I will see you in the next one where we most likely are going to have the first start. See you then.